Hey everyone, it's me Ryan here at MandRproductions, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Ask MandRproductions, the series where you can ask me whatever questions you want. If you have a question you want answered next week, leave in the comments section below right now, as well as leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. I'll be reading through your comments soon and picking out some for next week's episode, so make sure to leave one as soon as possible. The first question comes from Spencer Customs, and he says, "Hey Ryan, I was wondering why you keep all your boxes from your sets." I keep all my boxes in my closet for the most part, and the reason I keep them is just because I always have. It's just something that I've always done ever since I was little, and as you can tell, I have boxes dating back to 2005, and you know, it's just, I don't know, I just always have kept my boxes. I feel like I need to for some reason. I'm a hoarder, I guess, in that respect, but I guess if I had to get rid of them, I would. They're not that big of a deal. Obviously, the Lego sets themselves are what matters, as opposed to a box with the picture of the Lego set that I already have, but I just keep them because I think they're cool, and it's just part of my hobby. It's part of my hobby. That's the best way to put it. Q-Dog in the house says, "What Star Wars spin-off would you like to see or make into a movie?" Well, obviously the big prevailing thing now is the ObiWan movie that a lot of people want to see, so I think that's my answer. I would love to see an ObiWan movie. I don't really care what they do it on. I'm sure it will be good, whatever it ends up being. Obviously, we're already getting a Han Solo movie, so I think a ObiWan movie would just make a lot of sense. A Boba Fett movie would be kind of cool too, but there's only so much you can do with a bounty hunter, I guess. I'm sure they could make up a lot of cool stuff. And, the one thing that does work about the Obi-Wan movie is obviously Ewan McGregor is still alive. And the other thing that works about a Boba Fett movie is you don't need the actual actor that played Boba Fett, like you do with Han Solo. If you want to do a young Han Solo, it's really hard. But with Boba Fett, he's wearing a mask the whole time, so it doesn't really matter what actor you use. So either Boba Fett or Obi-Wan, it doesn't matter to me. I honestly hope both happen in the future. Sam says, "Were you ever into the Mars Mission series, and if so, did you get any sets from it?" Well, Mars Mission is from 2007, and yes, I was into it. I loved looking at the pictures of it. But in 2007, I didn't have enough money to get everything I wanted, obviously, because I was 10 years old, and I didn't get any of the sets. I really did like Mars Mission, though. I remember just looking at them on the shelves and liking them, much like Aqua Raiders of 2007. I really liked that line as well, and the Mars Mission sets were really cool. I'll show some pictures of them, but I didn't get any. I maybe in the future I'll get some, but they just obviously didn't eclipse Star Wars for me in interest, and obviously I bought more Star Wars stuff, and that's how this ended up happening. And obviously Mars Mission didn't last much longer than that, unfortunately, but Mars Mission was a cool line, and I hope they bring back more alien type stuff in the future. Northern Lego says, "How many UCS sets do you have?" I have at least 11, counting the UCS Hoth, and if you want to count the motorized AT-AT from 2007, I have 12. If you don't want to count UCS Hoth, I have 10. I have 10 or 12. If you don't want to count the UCS BB-8, don't count them. I have 9 official with a plaque UCS sets. I don't know. I have between 10 and 12, depending on what people define as UCS, but I would say I have 12. Brother from Another Brick says, "What is your opinion on Power Miners?" Well, Power Miners, much like Mars Mission, for me, was a very interesting theme of my youth. I was 13 when that came out in 2010, or late 2009, I think, actually. And I was actually able to get one of those sets, and I reviewed it on my old YouTube channel. Yeah, that was a thing I did. It's a really neat set. The power, I remember it. It's like the fire truck Power Miners thing, I don't know. But Power Miners, I think, is a really cool theme. I hope they bring it back in the future. It's just a really cool theme. Like, it's really awesome. I love the little rock monsters. I kind of wish I hadn't broken down the sets of it that I had, and I hope to get more in the future. I would love to go back and get some of those. Again, Star Wars just took precedence over Power Miners for me back then, and it really still does, but I would love some Power Miners sets. Rebo Brick says, "Will you ever build Hoth? Will you ever build anything after Hoth?" Well, that's the great mystery about my channel, isn't it? Lost Boy AJ says, "Do you think a UCS Cloud City at the $250 to $300 range would be good?" Honestly, this is the type of question that I don't want to be answering on these videos, because this is just a question of, is this set good? It's like a set idea, but I'll answer it because it got 49 upvotes, and I think, yeah, it would be good. If you did a UCS Cloud City, much like they did with UCS Hoth or the Ewok Village, I think it could end up being really cool and really popular. The only question is, will Lego do it, and who knows? Maybe in a few years they could do it. I just don't know. I think it would line up well with one of the anniversaries for Star Wars. At any point in time they can do it, really, and it would hopefully sell better than UCS Hoth. I mean, obviously that was a big flop, and I think Cloud City would do much better, but again, who knows? Hopefully in the future they do it, but we have no way of knowing. Sula says, "Which set of yours that you had owned and then sold do you regret selling the most?" Well, I used to own the UCS Sandcrawler, the 2005 version, and then I sold that. I kind of really regret that. I really liked that set, and it also had a lot of sentimental value to me, but I'm not going to get into that. That's one that I regret. I also regret selling my UCS Darth Vader's tie. Now, obviously, I do have another UCS Darth Vader's tie that I bought from my friend Lego Bob 35, but I sold my other one and I paid like 3 times as much as I sold it for, so I kind of regret that just for the monetary value that I kind of lost out on that deal. I think I sold that in like 2010 or 2012, and then I just bought that one last year, so I definitely regret that, and that's probably all the 2 sets that I regret the most. Matthew Stoward says, if you could make one battle pack, what would it be and what minifigures would it include? Well, I think the obvious choice here is a 501st Clone Trooper battle pack. That's just something that LEGO never did, and it just baffles me because they did the 212 Troopers, they did the Geonosis Troopers, they did Kashyyyk Troopers, and they didn't do 501st Troopers. What the heck? Like 501st Troopers are insanely popular, like, in our little LEGO Star Wars group, and I'm sure they would sell very well as a battle pack. I don't understand. Maybe it's because 501st Troopers killed a bunch of younglings in Episode 3 and LEGO just doesn't want that connection, but then again, they made 501st Troopers in 2013 with the ATRT set that cost only $20, but I really wish they came in a battle pack. It just would be so cool to get 501st Troopers, and there's no reason for them not to do it. It just baffles my mind. 501st Troopers with Galactic Marines, and oh my god, I would buy so many of them, even though I don't care about collecting clone armies that much anymore. I would just buy like 30 of them because why not? Who wouldn't? DV Productions says, if someone were to ask you what is your least favorite minifigure, what would you say? Well, if someone was to ask me that, and obviously you haven't asked me that because you're not asking me that, you're just hypothetically saying if someone did, I would probably say the early Watto minifigure. The early Watto minifigure is so bad looking, like, especially compared to the new one. I think they did a great job updating it, but the original version was just really bad. Yeah, a lot of those early 2000 figures were pretty bad, but the early Watto minifigure was really bad, especially compared to today, so that's what I would say. If hypothetically I was asked that question, which obviously you aren't doing here. Hartsville Gamer says, how many Star Wars sets do you have? Well, I've been asked this question before, and I'll give you the same answer. I'm not going to go back there and count because that was going to take a long time. The best thing I can do for you is tell you to go check out my collection video. I'll put a link down in the description below. I think in that video I do say how many sets I have total at that time, and I probably also wrote it in the description of that video, so check that. Just watch my collection video and that will give you the best idea of how many Star Wars sets I have. Michelangelo says, what LEGO themed movie would you like to see next? Well, obviously I'd love a Star Wars themed LEGO movie. Obviously LEGO Star Wars the movie would just be great, right? But I don't think that will ever happen. Unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like it could. Maybe Spider-Man would be kind of cool. LEGO Spider-Man. They've done LEGO Batman, so that could go hand in hand. LEGO Superman. You know, anything goes really now that what they've done with Ninjago. So I think anything they do will be cool. I genuinely did enjoy the Ninjago movie, although it was a children's movie at its core. I thought the Batman movie and the original LEGO movie were better comedy-wise, but the Ninjago movie wasn't awful, and that gives me hope that they can do good stuff in the future. So we'll see what they do with the LEGO movie. Maybe they could do LEGO Toy Story the movie. Who knows? There's so many different things they can do. I would just love to see their planning room with how many different ideas they've had, because you know they go through tons of different ideas before an actual idea gets through the process. So we'll see what happens next. Lucas says, how do you think Disney should deal with the whole Princess Leia thing? Because I heard she was going to be the main character in Episode 9, and how do I think her story should end? Well, I'll say this, there's no way you have heard that Princess Leia is going to be the main character in Episode 9 because the script really isn't even finished yet, which, you know, like, come on. You're just hearing BS someone made up on the internet. Don't believe everything you read. But honestly, I think General Leia, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, however you want to put it, should die in Episode 8. The trailer that I saw most recently definitely makes it look that way, and obviously that's probably what they were going for, but I genuinely think she should die in Episode 8. That's just what I think. Obviously, they killed Han Solo in the last movie, and this would be a fitting end to her story. I mean, it sucks that Carrie Fisher died. It's a real shame, but I think the best way to do it is to do it the same way they did Han Solo and have Kylo Ren just finish her off. And lastly, Skeptical Brick says, do you think there's any Battlefront 2 sets coming, and if so, what do you think they might be? Well, honestly, I don't think there are many coming, if any at all. I actually did a video on this. I'll link it in the description below, Battlefront 2 set ideas. And in that video, I explained what sets I think could come from the video game. So check that out with the link in the description below. But I think I think we're not going to see any sets from Battlefront 2. There's just so much going on. We have, obviously Episode 8, the Han Solo movie, and then obviously they're still remaking stuff from the original trilogy coming out this spring in the Clone Wars. We have sets coming from the Clone Wars, right? And there's just so much going on that I find it hard to believe that they're going to do much with Battlefront 2, which is a shame because I had some great ideas in that video if you want to check it out. But again, link in the description below. It'll be at the top with the link to my collection video. But I think we won't see much from that, unfortunately. I mean, we didn't see much from the original game, right? We got a couple battle packs, which I wouldn't hate. I would love some 501st battle packs, wink, wink. And yeah, that's probably what I think about that. That's all I have for this video, guys. Thank you all for your questions. If you guys have a question for next week, leave in the comments section below. If you enjoyed, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy, let me know with a big ass thumbs down. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.